What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where today we're going to talk about Alec Pierce. We're going to talk about A.D. Mitchell. We're going to talk about what we could see as the season begins. And I want to reference last year and go back to last season when the Colts signed a veteran in Isaiah McKenzie. And Isaiah McKenzie had some success with the Bills, obviously being with Josh Allen, being in a successful building, right? Ever since they got Josh Allen, they've won a lot of games. And Isaiah McKenzie was a part of that. It's not like he was a massive part, but he was making plays for the Bills. So as he came in, I thought for sure, okay, Isaiah McKenzie, he's going to be the guy that's getting the start and in week one. And then as the season goes on, Josh Downs will continue to get more work until you get to the end of the year and Josh Downs takes over. Then you get through the preseason last year and you got to see a little bit of what Josh Downs could bring. And it was like, oh, this guy's different. This guy has a chance to start week one. And that's exactly what happened. Josh Downs gets a start. Isaiah McKenzie takes a back seat and is more of in a gadget role behind Josh Downs and getting some short field kind of work, and was a punt returner, kick returner. I don't know if there weren't really kick returns anyways last year for any team, but punt returns, Isaiah McKenzie not good. So when you look at this year and we take what we saw last year into this year, something to keep in mind when you're having this conversation. Shane Steichen is not Frank Reich. If you think that we're going to go into a 2024 season and Alec Pierce is just automatically going to be the guy that's starting week one just because it's A.D. Mitchell's first game, I'm sorry. You're wrong. This is not Frank Reich's team anymore. Frank Reich would have played favorites and would have done the rookies got to, get some time to really figure it out, to come in. Nah, Shane Steichen is going to put the best player on the field. Every situation, every down, whatever it is, whoever he thinks is going to help us win the game is going to be on the field. That's one thing I love about Shane Steichen is the fact that he is not afraid to sit one of these guys down if he needs to. Now, Alec Pierce, we've talked a lot on this channel about Alec Pierce. I probably seem like a guy that hates Alec Pierce. I don't hate Alec Pierce. I think there's value in Alec Pierce, but Alec Pierce and MVS, right? Marquez Valdez-Scantling, those are the same people, okay? There's a certain value that Marquez Valdez-Scantling has on the teams that he's on, whether it was the Packers or the Chiefs. There's one thing you're always going to see him doing, and he had quarterbacks that could get him the ball down the field. That's one thing Alec Pierce hasn't had. Now, can Anthony Richardson change that? Of course. Anthony Richardson is expected to help Alec Pierce have the best year of his career. So you look at what Alec Pierce has done, drafted in the second round in 2022, and he had 41 catches, 593 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the Matt Ryan season. Okay, then last year, between Anthony Richardson and Gardner Minshew, he ends up with 32 catches, 514 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So overall, 73 catches, 1,100 yards, 15 yards per reception, and he has 4 touchdowns. Okay, those stats through 2 years. Very average NFL player. This is a guy that plays most snaps in a game. He does bring value as a blocker, which is going to help him stay on the field. But in my opinion, you look at it, right? Alec Pierce isn't that much bigger, right? He's 6'3". So you look at A.D. Mitchell, he's 6'2". A.D. Mitchell also 205 pounds or something like that. He's lean. He's got some muscle on him, especially in his legs. If you see A.D. Mitchell, you see his legs having the drive, having the explosiveness that he has. They're just different things that A.D. Mitchell can do that Alec Pierce, he continues to develop. And we talked about that plenty on this channel at the end of last season. And as we were getting toward the end of last season, but Alec Pierce was doing different things. We saw him running different routes and doing some work in the short to intermediate area. But he is a go ball specialist. That's what everybody thought. The go ball. When you talk about Alec Pierce, the go ball comes up. And even Reggie Wayne has mentioned that. And the fact that A.D. Mitchell can do so many things. There's so much that he can do. And yeah, Alec Pierce can go up and get the ball with the best of them. A.D. Mitchell can do a little bit of everything, which is why as you go into week one, and again, this is a long way away. We're in May, right? We're still waiting for OTAs. We're waiting for training camp, obviously, in July. So it's a long way away. But this one of the discussions going on is Alec Pierce going to be the starter week 1. I could see a world where he is the starter week 1, but just judging off of 3 things, okay? Shane Steichen and what he says, Reggie Wayne and what he says, and then you also have AD Mitchell and what he can do. And I just think that even though Anthony Richardson might be the guy that can unlock Alec Pierce and what we've been trying to make Alec Pierce be a big part of the offense for, I just think it's more valuable to have Michael Pittman Jr. on the outside who can do it all. He's a great route runner, doesn't have the explosive ability, right? He's not, his speed isn't as game breaking as Alec Pierce or AD Mitchell. But, Michael Pittman Jr. still has wheels, you know what I'm saying? But he's Pitt. Pitt's a number 1 wide receiver, getting paid like a number 1. He's Pitt, okay? He can do everything. If you have a guy on the opposite side that can do everything, then the offense is wide open. You don't have to have, we can have these routes on this side of the field, and then you have these specific routes on this side of the field. You can have it open on both sides of the field. Then you have Josh Downs in the slot who can also do everything. AD Mitchell and Josh Downs can change in and out. And I think if you have Pitt, AD Mitchell and Josh Downs on the field at the same time, you can continue to roll out different designs where the 3 of them are flip-flopping. Might put Pitt in the slot, put Downs on the outside, on the right side of the field, AD Mitchell on the left side of the field outside. However you want to do that, keep those 3 in a stack together and have Jelani Woods on the field, right? There's so many things that you can do, and it's so dangerous. And again, this isn't me taking a shot at Alec Pierce. It's not that I don't like Alec Pierce. I still have faith that Reggie Wayne can bring the best out of Alec Pierce. And I think that'll happen. What we talked about before the draft, man, if we get a receiver and Alec Pierce is our number 4, we're in a really good spot, okay, for a team that has needed wide receiver depth for years. To have Alec Pierce as our 4th receiver, we're going to be one of the best wide receiver rooms in the NFL. So I don't want to see this. I don't want this to be as like me taking shots. I think our wide receiver room is good. I just think AD Mitchell brings more to the table than Alec Pierce. And that, for me, is why at the end of the day, you put AD Mitchell in the starting lineup week 1, just like you did Josh Downs. Okay, now Alec Pierce, can you do more with Alec Pierce, right? Dallas Flowers coming off a torn Achilles. That's not a guy you want returning punts or returning kicks. Is that something Alec Pierce can do? Maybe we see Alec Pierce start to get under the tutelage of Ashton Dulin, and maybe he starts to become a really good special teamer, right? We had talked, and a lot of Colts fans talked about, well, Ashton Dulin was a special teamer and he was getting better at receiver before his injury, and that's why we were hoping to have him last year. So when you look at it, Alec Pierce could still be the wide receiver he is and continue to work at the wide receiver stuff, but also work at being, the best gunner in the NFL with his physical makeup, with his speed, everything that is Alec Pierce. If he worked on it, he could be that. He could still bring a lot of value to the team. I just think from an offensive standpoint and a starter standpoint, I think AD Mitchell should start. Now, with that said, the last point here is that I could see a world where, and it's probably, I feel like at this point, more probable than not, that there's going to be like a 60-40 split in snaps, right? Where you see AD Mitchell starting and he plays, the important stuff, but Alec Pierce is going to have value. Alec Pierce, there are going to be plays where you have Alec Pierce in there because of the threat of Alec Pierce, and you go ahead and take AD Mitchell out and giving AD Mitchell a break, and it's his rookie year, so he's still learning things, right? Alec Pierce is going to have value this season, and he's still going to find the field this season, especially if he's on the Colts, right? Assuming we're at this point, he's still here, so I expect him to start the year with the Colts and not get traded. So with Alec Pierce, there's still going to be value. He's still going to have some offensive snaps. He's still, hopefully, he ends up finding a role on special teams. I don't think we should be keeping somebody on the roster that it just isn't going to play. That's not really a thing NFL teams do. So Alec Pierce is going to have to figure out his role in some capacity, and it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But, of course, I'd like to know what your opinion is on this, right? Is Alec Pierce, should he start week 1, do you think? Should it be AD Mitchell? Should they be a 50-50 split at wide receiver all season? Should they 50-50 split just at the beginning of the season? What do you think? I'd like to know your thoughts on this down in the comment section, please. And make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you continue to get notified anytime any more of these videos come out. Plenty to talk about, and I want your opinion. So I appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.